Finally, a better way to hold your phone. Introducing Steady Straps. Made here in the USA, Steady Straps are high-quality, flexible straps that adjust to hold virtually any phone comfortably and securely. Steady Straps are washable and come in a wide range of colors and styles. See them all at SteadyStraps.com. Because they're so visible, they're the perfect promotional item to advertise your company message or logo. Learn more at SteadyStraps.com. That's SteadyStraps.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coaching Queens 2020. I am Queen Bee Baumgarth.
I am Queen Bee Burrow. And we have the amazing Tricia Benn with us today. Yay!
Okay. We can clap now. We can do that.
Yeah, we can do it all. It's all good. Tricia, we met Tricia through C-Suite, actually. One of the major highlights of COVID. And she's quite the accomplished businesswoman. I cannot imagine the stress that you guys were under last year when this all hit. It blows my mind what we dealt with here in little town Wisconsin, and you guys had all of that to deal with. So really, one of my biggest questions is, how do you keep that inner peace maintained in you no matter what's going on? The world's on fire, yet you're always just so chill and calm. And there's times where there's 150 people on the screen and everyone's trying to talk and you're all like, nope, I got this. It's fine.
I'm so thrilled to be here with both of you. It's just awesome. And the launch of your podcast and seeing your journey has just been incredible. So I'm just ecstatic to be here with both of the Queen Bees of this show. And I'm wearing this hat in honor of you and your incredible tiaras. I seem not to own one. So, you know,
I've married a couple times. You'll get one.
There we go. That's another story. So sometime we'll have that story. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, the calm, it's one of those things where I think you have to really kind of draw in and go with your strengths and build on your strengths. So for me, when I think about what is my peace, there's how you've been raised and who your role models are for how you address crisis, right? And how you address stress and all of those kinds of things. There's drawing on the experience you've had when you had that crisis feeling where it worked, right? We all had that feeling. No matter what your experience is, we've all had that feeling. They're the tools that you actually have. You're never lost without having tools to solve problems, so that's a whole other area. Taking action, that action orientation, following the tracks you built. And all of these, I have some great little anecdotes and stories that help me think through these processes and how I use them throughout this year and a half, but my whole career, my whole life. But you don't get points for being a martyr. You don't get points for, I did it the hardest way possible. There are tracks that have been laid. So can you run down them and then constantly refocusing? What's your mission? Who are you serving? That makes it a lot easier. So those are the sort of the main buckets that I would put, I put into play in terms of how do you find that piece that really helps enable you to succeed in delivering whatever results you want to deliver in light of whatever chaos there is.
I like that. And yesterday you said that too, focus on the mission. It doesn't necessarily mean, like that one slide Jeff put up yesterday where it was like, you think it's going to go this way, but it's like all over the place. So being a mom, that's one of the hardest spots I have found to keep my inner peace. Because as a mom, we want to fix things for our kids and they're chaotic because they're learning. How do you keep yourself grounded? Because you have teenagers too, don't you?
I have a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 21-year-old stepdaughter. I always say that's so much easier. I get to just be like great auntie kind of role, like I can claim no credit for all of her beauty and intelligence, and I can just enjoy the fact that she's amazing, So, but yes, I have a 15 and 10-year-old, and I completely understand what you speak of. And it is really challenging. There's no question it's challenging. I do have a different approach though. And it really does extend into the way that I think about my teammates, my business partners, my community that I build within C-suite. I don't want to own their experience. I don't want their life to be perfect. And I do not claim to have any expertise in terms of what is going to be the great life that they want to lead. So I really see myself more as a resource. And again, I use tracks a lot as an analogy, but I'm kind of like the guardrails on either side, as a parent, okay, no dying, no like complete, sabotaging, right? And yes, you do need to contribute to this community, this family, and the external community that we love and care for. So those are some important guideposts. But other than that, it's their experience, things, and I'll give you a ridiculous example, but things like, I want to get a tattoo in the middle of my forehead. Okay. Like why parents own that kind of thing as their own. I listen, I'm not even engaging in that. You need to understand, I don't need to walk around with a tattoo in the middle of my forehead, or one that I'm going to hate next year. That's not me. I don't have to do that because that's not my choice. Now, if you choose to do that, you need to understand this is your life. You now need to walk around like that. Do you like that t-shirt you bought last year? I'm pretty sure you don't like that t-shirt anymore.
Example. That's a good example. My son got one tattoo. He's 31 now, but he got one of a tribal. And I'm like, what tribe do you belong to?
Asking hard stuff there, Mom. That's awesome.
Yeah. So go ahead, Tricia. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, personal responsibility, personal ownership. I think we're so encouraged in our culture today. My degrees are actually in sociology and anthropology. So we're so encouraged in our culture today to own our children's experience, to own their lives, own their ups and downs. We don't. That's ridiculous to me. It is their life. Robbing them of that responsibility and ownership, pride, and fulfillment seems so fundamentally wrong to me. Anyway, so and in the end, then you could get into the whole thing of women especially are supposed to own all of that and literally monitor every single breath they take. And I just think it's not healthy for anyone. I want to have them use me as an example of you pursue your passions, you deliver to your communities, you give back, you drive to be able to deliver the best you can deliver, those types of things. And what that looks like, that's really up to you. I can't know that.
Right.
Exactly. With the youth group, it's funny. They're always like, what do we call you? And I'm like, preferably something nice. And they call me their mentor. And I'm like, whoa, that one kind of threw me off. And they said, we can bring stuff to you, but you're not telling us how to do it. And I'll always tell them, like, did you think about the consequences? Mm-hmm. And I'll make them walk through it. And then when they do something, they're like, oh, that actually went that way. And I'm like, well, on the consequences, so it kind of reinforces that they're like, oh, I didn't like that before.
It plays into the concept. And I think this is so important. In C-suite, I always talk about our principles: relevancy, reach, reciprocity, respect. Mm-hmm. When you do that, you pay them the respect of being able to make really great decisions for themselves and work through challenges, just like every other human being on the planet has to work through challenges. And if we don't allow them that opportunity, we don't pay them the respect that they're capable to do that. And so I think the respect you give them, Charity, is huge. And what you've earned is trust with them, right? So when they call you mentor, they trust that not only are you giving them respect, but that they can trust you, that that's all coming from a good place, and you are going to give them good counsel and so on. So,
well, that's actually kind of awesome. I hadn't looked at it that way.
Yeah, and when they get older,
what?
When they get older, like I said, my son is 31 and I have a 26-year-old, and my 31-year-old, he help me move. And somebody brought food,
Mhm.
and he actually sent him a thank you note, a written thank you note.
Oh,
Amazing.
And that just amazed me.
I
Yeah.
love it.
You know, here's the thing too, is what we're talking about. These are real people things, right? These are real relationship principles and components. And, you know, you go from the, you know, your own children, yourself and your community, but then also as business leaders, it's exactly the same thing. If I come in with my team and I say, you do this, you know, we're in crisis. Did you know COVID happened? so you're going to do this, you know. No, I go to my team and I pay them the respect to say, hey, you lead in this area. What do you think we should be doing here? You know, we want to get there. We want to be able to deliver to our community. We want to be able to succeed through this. We want to show how people can succeed through this, help them get there faster. What do you think we can do in the area that you own and that you lead and that you live in for our organization? You know, that pays them the respect of actually having great insight to bring. Obviously that you're trusting that they can bring that insight. That is so incredibly powerful. So that relationship investment of the respect and the trust back and forth is invaluable, and it helps a team run really quickly. And, you know, if I were to say, you know, that calm that I have, it's really easy to be calm when you're focused on your mission and you know who you're serving, right? So when COVID happened last year, my business partners, Jeffrey Hazlett, on the March 16th, he said, we are going to drive and thrive. We're not medical experts, but we are here for the business community, executives, influencers, investors, and business owners. So we're gonna be the business first responders, and we're not gonna let anyone down, you know. And so what did we do? We set everything up. We're not canceling anything. So everything went virtual. All of our events. We were supposed to host an event within less than a month of that was in Virginia Beach, multiple days. We had a ship. I mean, you know, this you can't have on Zoom, you know.
Right.
So we adjusted all that and we moved, and we knew what our mission was. We've got to adjust the entire business model. We went from very high touch, high level memberships to $1,000 memberships, all virtual, plus serving all of those members and partners we had at much higher levels through these crises. And continue to serve and deliver against helping everyone move forward faster. And so when you're aligned on that mission and you're paying that respect and you're building that trust back and forth, you can't stop a team like that. There's just no stopping them. And I'm faithful to that notion all the way around, to the point where, and my family will tease me about this, I will never bet against my family or my team, ever. So I bet I can do, okay.
Yeah. All right.
No, I will never bet against, because when you're aligned on your mission, you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve and what you set out to achieve. So
That's awesome.
And that's what gives inner peace. That, you know, like going back to talking about your team and talking about your kids, you know, Kyle may have things that come that I wish I can spare him from, but I have peace knowing that he has the tools to work through that, and that he knows, you know, he's close to Gene. Gene is a stepdad. And you know, Trish, it's funny because when we got married, Kyle put a kindergarten picture of Gene and my senior picture in a frame. So they kind of have a little camaraderie going.
oh my goodness, that's great.
I don't have many high school stories. I don't have that. But to see those two interact, and he looks up to us, and he has the tools to know that things are okay. So have you ever woken up in the morning in a bad mood, and how do you get yourself out of it? Or if you found yourself in a bad mood, what tools do you use to get in a good mood?
You know, I wake up happy generally. I'm actually a very glass half full, happy kind of person. If I wake up unhappy, it is very unusual, and I am taking action. I am a very future oriented, very mission driven person. So you get over your own ego really quickly, right? I'm not, who gives, are we allowed to swear on your show?
Yes.
Who gives a,
I
who
don't know,
gives
it's on
a,
Facebook radio.
yeah, who gives a shit if Trisha's in a bad mood today? I mean, seriously, who gives a shit? The only thing that matters is that we're delivering something that helps everybody win, you know? So at the end of the day, who cares about that? I mean, okay, you know, but you know, being focused, being future oriented, I think helps me a great deal. I also love what I do. I love the people I serve. I mean, look what I get to be with you, right? Like life is great. And then that sense of gratitude, absolutely. Here's another thing though that I think is really important is transparency. So if I'm working through something that's frustrating me, I seldom am angry, but if I'm working through something that's frustrating me or distracting me, I will let people know so that I can show up absolutely consistently. So, right. So my team, they know if something's different with me. So what am I going to do? Pretend I'm not frustrated by something? Or, you know, what happens is all of a sudden they think, oh my goodness, I've done something. Right? What did I say? What did I do? You know, and they're wasting time. They're focused on how did they not do something that I'm now reacting differently to them. Mm-hmm. So I learned very early on, and also you go to know your own tendencies. I tend to get very quiet when I'm frustrated. I'm actually almost half introvert. So I have this hugely extrovert side. But I also have a very strong introvert side. So I'll tend to get quiet. I get very calm. I don't blow up. I don't get all, you know, emotional. I will get quieter. So I learned, you know, early on, let my team know, you know, hey, I'm working through something. I'm, you know, thinking through this, whatever. So just so you know, like if I'm not reacting the way that you think I normally would or whatever, it's just because I'm working through this, you know? So I think that's a way that you can be transparent, show up with authenticity, not some sort of fake version. And will never be a fake version of myself. That's ludicrous, right? To me, that's just an invitation to be absolutely miserable every single day. So if we can show up authentically, be real, and let people know where we are with things, and then move forward. And then, as I said, you know, those various things. Another one, Joan, when you were talking about little tips, my brother-in-law taught me, when someone asks you how you are, you say best day ever. And it's just a great little reminder.
It is. Mm-hmm. In fact, Jean says, if I'd be any better, I'd be you.
Right. You know, it's a way of being automatically grateful. You can't say that and not be grateful that you're alive. Mm-hmm. Right. And in the moment. So
yeah.
Well, that is fantastic.
Love it.
You do know I'm ordained.
We haven't had that conversation, but I do know that. And I just love learning all of the different things that make people who they are, Joan. So it's just beautiful. I love it.
I just, because I brought that up, and when you said that the glass is half full, I'm glad I have a glass. I don't care if it's empty or full. I'm glad I have a glass.
Yes. Right.
And is there any other points that you want to make, Tricia, about this? I mean, you sum it up.
I think as we think through how we interact in the moment, drawing on those experiences that we have, I think is so important. So imagery is another thing that can be really helpful. I worked very closely by my father's side. You know, I grew up on a farm, mm-hmm. and so, you know, the things that you can draw on in terms of trust, I was reminded right after I had my 15-year-old, she was just literally a baby in arms. And my husband is 6'7". He's this big, scary looking guy, you know, and we went to visit my father with the baby, you know, and my father said, Tricia, you know, I've got to go up the road and we're level this gravel driveway for, you know, I don't know, some parks thing. I don't even know what it was, but anyway, do you want to go? Absolutely. Of course. I've done this my whole entire life with my father, right? So we get in the big tractor. So I'm up in the big cab, right? And I'm driving, of course. And so I'm on the left-hand side of the cab. My husband's with the baby behind my father, and my father's on the right-hand side. Now I'm driving up the right-hand side of the road, and there's about a 6 to 9 foot drop over the side of the road. And my father's on that side. And so I've worked with my father my whole life. So that respect is obviously there. Trust though, right? So my father does this, doesn't say a word, just his hand goes over maybe an inch like that. So I move over an inch, and there's a 6 to 9 foot drop depending on where we are on the road, and he keeps going like this. So I know I can go over another inch. I can't see, but I know I can go over another inch. I can go over another inch. And finally, my husband says, stop the tractor right now. Stop the tractor. He gets out and takes you people are crazy. Takes the baby, walks back to the house.
Oh.
I start again, my father, an inch, and away we go. And so, I think whatever it is that gives you that feeling where that's a place you can go, and whether that's the tools that you've been given or that you have through your community or your team, your family, just an action orientation. This isn't happening to me. I'm not a victim. You've got tracks that you used before. Maybe they need a little adjustment, but you can run down them. Whatever those pieces are, go to that place where you have that trust. It's just an inch more. It's just an inch more, and keep it really simple in that trust you have in yourself, and whoever it is that you're leaning on and shoulder to shoulder with as you're going through the different challenges, and never forget that's there for you. I think that's just absolutely critical.
I love
That's
that.
awesome. Well, we loved having you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I love being here with you. It's, by the way, the first time I've ever worn a hat for an interview.
Oh, awesome. Good. This is going to be great. But I say I am ordained because I always end in a quick prayer, and nothing where you got to bow your head, but just may the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and give you peace. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.